question. Who has not beaten the normal Leviathan raid yet? Because this weekend is your lucky day, since I want to help people get through their first raid. And no, not you, YouTube Butter, because you can go fuck yourself. Now, I know there are people out there on my friends list that have not set foot in the raid, let alone beat the motherfucker for whatever reason. They don't have the time, they don't have the party members, or the patience and capability to run the raid. But I want to get as many first-timers through the raid as I possibly can this weekend. So, I'm going to be helping out. A few weeks ago, I did a raid with subscribers, but I really didn't end up putting a starting time, so when I was running the motherfucker, so it got a little jumbled around, and I think only I was able to play with like 2 subscribers that day in the raid, and then I joined my usual squad for my normal run. This time around, I'm going to do a starting time and a bit of a sign up, so that way people know I am helping with the normal raid. I'm going to be on this time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's up to you guys to figure out which time zone that is for you guys. I don't know where the fuck you live, and I don't really care. As long as you don't live halfway across the fucking world and you have goddamn awful internet and shit like that, basically, it's going to be first come, first serve. So you can let me know in the comments section if you're down to raid, or if you could be online 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then I'm going to take the first 5 people that are actually ready to go. If I get a group to the raid quickly, then it's on to the next set of people who want to get the raid done. I'm debating about whether I'm going to stream this or not, because that way more people will see that I'm taking through first timers. Plus, you know what? If someone wasn't able to get into the first group, let's say it's first come, first serve, or they weren't able to log in at 12 o'clock or whatever the hell, they'll at least be able to see what parts we're up to, if we're halfway through, if we're 90% through. That way they know, oh, okay, if I hang around, I'll be able to log in, play a game. As soon as they're done, I can get in on the next group and shit like that. And if you decide to watch the whole thing, then you actually see some of the sections where people are going wrong and what we need to do in this motherfucker. But ultimately, I want to get as many people through the raid as possible on their very first time. I would like to run it multiple times, but it all depends on how quickly the people will get through that shit running through each section. You know, this past weekend, we actually got a group together, and we were going to try and help our buddy Iris out through his first normal raid, only for his lady to start yelling at him that he was playing too many damn video games. And it was right when we reached Callus, man. We had that shit beat, but then all these glitches started fucking with us. Oh, man, that shit was pissing me off. I don't think he knew that it took like an hour to get through that shit. You know, especially seeing it for the very first time and having to go through all the growing pains of the raid. He was not expecting that shit. So in the end, he had to drop out, and the 5 people that were remaining in the group, we finished that shit off pretty quickly. So poor Iris, he missed out on that run, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be one of the first motherfuckers to sign up this weekend. So in joining me this weekend, I want you guys to be prepared that the raids take time, especially if you haven't seen it or you haven't done any of it. No, seriously, this shit is a pain in the ass to do. And explaining all the intricacies of the raid takes time, and getting the parts down takes time. It's not like a strike where all you have to do is keep shooting and eventually you're gonna pass that shit. No, 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 no. If you miss your responsibility, if you die, if you fall behind, if you ignore your objective, that means the whole team is going to fail. Raids are punishing, and usually one person's mistake makes sure the whole team fails that particular run. That's why you need to be coordinated, and you need to pay attention to instructions on each part. Now, don't get me wrong, look, we're gonna fail. We're gonna die a lot. I'm gonna have my mistakes, there's no question about that. But you need to learn from your mistakes, and you need to learn quickly, because the game will keep fucking you over if you don't learn from the mistake that you just made. If we're lucky, some people on my list will join out if they want to run a raid as well. Sometimes maybe Hatred or Bike Crazy or Rip or KY. They'll want to run the raid because they want some extra loot. So it's possible we'll get a little bit of extra help. Sky stopped playing the game, so he won't be around to troll you. But you know what? It actually might be a good thing, because he likes to purposely fuck people over in between coffee runs. Oh, that motherfucker's addicted to caffeine in this bitch, man. It's like playing with a child. Or better yet, it's like playing with an adult that hasn't grown up from a fucking child. That's basically what it's like playing with Sky. That being said, if you're gonna sign up, once again, you need to do a little bit of homework as to what's gonna happen in the raid. You know, I don't expect you guys to be experts, don't get me wrong. I don't expect you to remember every detail of every explanation video, but at least watch one video. At least understand there are 4 encounters to the raid, as well as a 5th section that I'll most likely skip because it takes too damn long and I'm goddamn impatient. Maybe we'll run that if you guys want some shaders. Like, ooh, shaders, I need that shit. I need to make my gun look like this fucking purple and white camo on this motherfucker. Oh man, fuck all that bullshit, man. So, if I'm not mistaken, the rotation this week is going to be the dogs, the pools, and then the gauntlet, and obviously Callus will be at the end. The dogs are pretty easy, even for a group that doesn't know what to do. Put me on the floor, I'll lead you guys all the way through the maze, and then you guys will be able to kill dogs very quickly. Pools will be a little bit harder, and that's going to take a little bit of coordination It's not as hard as the Prestige raid. Holy shit, the Prestige raid really kicks your ass. The normal one, it's gonna be difficult. But at the very least, you guys should be able to take care of yourselves on your own in that one. The Gauntlet, though, can be a bitch for a first-time person. The Gauntlet is such a pain in the ass because there are so many moving pieces, and I highly recommend watching some videos on at least how the Gauntlet works. It's confusing, because when it comes to this raid, you need to do everything opposite of what your teammates are communicating to you. If I say jump, you're supposed to duck. If I say run, you're supposed to walk, because this raid is ass backwards. Again, you'll understand once we get into the raid how that shit actually works. The final boss fight is against Callus, and it has a bunch of moving pieces that can be extremely confusing for first-timers. So on that one, I highly suggest watching a video also. When you play it, I know where to put people, and I know how to simplify the fight. But man, that shit is a pain in the ass for first-timers. It's a brutal fight because it relies on accurate communication. We're going to talk about communication in a couple seconds. Ideally, I want you to try to get to at least 300 power level. 305 isn't necessary because you do the same damage as a 300 as you would a 305. 290 and above would really be the minimum that it would take to run this raid, because anything under 290, the enemies are going to hurt you significantly more, and you'll do far less damage not killing the motherfuckers. Having a mic is also key because you need to talk and listen to your teammates. If you have a mic, though, you need to know when to talk and when to shut the fuck up. I know from experience that sometimes we get people who are a little shy and we can't hear them at times. So they try and speak up in the mic, or you don't actually hear what they're saying. You have to have them repeat or yell into their microphone. Or in Sky's case, his mic cuts out and we can't hear what the fuck he's saying because the motherfucker's too cheap to get a new mic. So you have to have a good mic that actually works. I've also had talkative motherfuckers who never shut up. And trust me, I will put you in your place if you don't shut the fuck up. We'll all have our banter. Don't get me wrong, we'll mess around when the time's needed, we'll crack our jokes when it's necessary, but when it's time to work and time to communicate, I'm going to have you guys cut out the bullshit. Now, as for weapons to bring and what to collect when ranking up this week, Nameless Midnight is probably the best kinetic weapon you can have in the game, and it really does a shitload of damage to the enemies. I can't recommend that weapon high enough. If you have it already, bring that motherfucker. If you have it and you haven't used it, rank it up, bump it up, get it to as high a light as possible, because that's probably going to be the main weapon that you're going to be using. As for energy weapons, I tend to switch around for different sections because a lot of guns have different uses in the raid. Cold Heart is fantastic for Callus. The Risk Runner is great for a few encounters, and the Mananin is an energy scout rifle that's also a pretty good choice. Pulse rifles are not a good choice in the game right now, so you'll want to avoid using those. I've seen people using hand cannons or the Skyburner's Annex, which is another exotic that's also pretty good. That can come in handy. But the main ones that you're going to want to have are Cold Heart, Risk Runner, and the Mananin. If you have those, or you could bump those up, try to do that this week. Finally, your heavy weapon. A sword works great in certain sections. Merciless is a fantastic choice to use in other sections of the game. Wardcliffe Coil is also a heavy-hitting monster. So if you have that one, you want to bump it up, you want to make sure that you use that. And finally, the rocket that I actually like using is the Curtain Call. That's my personal weapon of choice to bring. So if you have a Curtain Call and you want to bump that one up, that's also a fantastic choice to bring to the raid. If you also happen to get some decent drops during the raid sword, the raid rocket, and the auto rifle aren't bad. So those are things you would want to throw on if you don't have some of these weapons I'm already mentioning. But don't worry about those. Bring what you already have in your inventory. Try to get up over 300, and that's what we'll take into the raid. As for exotic armors to use, hunters who have Celestial Nighthawk or Orpheus Rig, those are going to be helpful. Warlocks who have the Crown of Tempest or the Lunafaction boots, those are also going to be pretty good. And for the Titans, they really have only one choice, the Crest of Alpha Lupi. Without that, you can pretty much use anything. But the Crest of Alpha Lupi should be your main exotic for a Titan, because those are fantastic to use for the raid. So, let's recap this shit. Saturday, starting 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be running the raid with first timers. It's a first come, first serve basis. So you can message me here that you're interested, message me on PSN, or just be online during that time. But I want to get as many people in as possible, and I'm also just going to pick the first people that reply back and the first people that are available on Saturday. So just because you write down in the comment section that you're down now, you have to be on at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that way you'll be able to get into my party. Soon as the first run is over, I would like to take another group of people if possible. Now remember, that all depends on the first group getting through the raid fast enough so that we could do some more runs. And that will depend on you guys doing a little bit of homework, so you need to understand what's coming when it comes to the raid. The raid takes a competent team, and even a competent team will take about an hour just to get through everything and all the chests at the end, so expect to be like double that. It's gonna probably take a minimum of 2 hours if I'm explaining shit to people, so make sure you have enough time to play and the wife isn't nagging you to change your kid's diaper like Iris had last weekend. And if we get lucky, some of my friends will tag along who are experienced and they'll help with the raid where they can, with the exception of Sky because he's an asshole. Oh man, he knows I'm just fucking with him, man. Having experienced people who obviously know certain parts of the raid, that's definitely going to speed things up. But that's if they're down to raid. If not, otherwise, I'll be fine taking 5 newbies brand new to the raid. And once we finish, you'll see that the game offers you shitty loot. Oh man, the raid loot sucks in this fucking game. But you know what? That's just how fucking Destiny's always work. So that's the details for this Saturday. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And hopefully, I'll see you guys on Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to run this motherfucking raid.